But now she's speaking for, I think, herself on down through Tommy.
Yeah.
She didn't know about, you know, back before she was born.
Yeah.
But, Uncle Newt, when did you start farming on your own?
Well, I guess about 21 or 2 along there.
You got your own place then?
Yeah, Dad had it. So we farmed on his land.
Where was this at?
2 mile east of the Mold Wild, 2 miles south of Seminole, and 2 mile east.
2 miles east. How long did you farm on that place?
Well, I guess 7 or 8 years, and then we moved to Ada for a year. And that is in 28, we moved to Ada. And moved back to Seminole in 29. And we lived there, I don't know how many years, and then he bought that farm up there where we've got now.
Your dad bought it?
Yeah, and give it to me, and we still got it.
Mm-hmm.
That is northwest of Seminole there.
Okay. Let's take a little break here. Okay, now we're going here.
Okay, well, we like going camping and then fishing, you know. Well, this was my uncle, Tolly Fullen, had a lease with a lot of grapes.
What was his name then?
Tolly Fullen. That was Mama's sister's husband.
Okay.
Out northwest of Seminole. So we all went in our wagons, and Bernie was sick. Bernie, you know, but we didn't know exactly what was wrong with her. Well, there's a bunch of little kids, you know. So we discovered she had the mumps. Well, they didn't know how they was going to keep her away from the rest of them, you know. Didn't want them to get the mumps. And you know what she'd do? She'd get out and go around where there's at and rub her jaw up against them kids so they could take the mumps. Oh, that Bernie, she's always doing something.
Well, Uncle Newt, can you tell us about the time you was Santa Claus to all the younger kids?
Well,
Was y'all married then?
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah.
Nobody knew who you were, I know that.
Well, we lived just down below Papa and them, and Bernie was always, let him go ahead and tell it. Going to the door, she wouldn't let nobody go to the door but her.
I dressed up like old Sandy and went up there and knocked on the door. Boy, here she come. Opened the door, and then she just fell back.
That learned her a lesson. She wasn't so anxious.
Was she about 3 or 4 years old?
I doubt it. She might have been about 5, wasn't she?
I
She's a
guess
pretty
so.
good sized girl.
5 or 6, something like that.
Tell us about Christmas back them days. It was...
Well, we didn't get very much for Christmas. Well, and Mama would have a hard time keeping stuff hid from us, you know, because I was awful bad to prowl and hunt for things, you know. And she got me a ring for Christmas, and she hid that ring, and she never did find it. Hid it from herself, and I didn't get a thing for Christmas, only candy and my socks.
I've heard tell that there was always a big Christmas tree with a lot of ornaments.
Oh, yeah.
A real pretty Christmas tree.
We always had a big Christmas tree. After we got, you know, we got older.
Mm-hmm.
Got a little oil money and so on.
Where did most of the ornaments come from? Did they just buy them? Or?
They just bought them at the store, I guess. You know, the best I remember, I know Papa'd always get a big Christmas tree.
Mm-hmm.
When we got bigger, before we had the Christmas tree, we'd just hang our stockings up, you know, at nights.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd lay awake. One time I laid awake till they got up and put stuff in, and I found out who old Sandy was. Well, I wanted to see him. I didn't want him to come and get away and me not see him, you know.
Well, when did the oil money come in? About what time? Was you grown when that come in, or was?
Oh, yes, we were married when the oil money come in.
Oh, we come in and started in at 26.
So y'all been married just a couple of years.
Yeah.
And
it was tough back then days, but you didn't think nothing about it.
Everybody was in the same boat. They didn't think nothing about it.
Yeah. The oil money did your dad own a lot of land that had oil on it? Is that?
How many acres of land did Papa have?
He had 160 there. We never did get no oil on it.
But see, they
Dad had some in that next to the mission there.
But see the way they do, they'd exchange.
They'd trade royalty, like you had royalty here and somebody else had some here. Well, you trade so many acres or so many.
And that's the way
over.
Mr. Blinds and Papa, they traded like that.
They've
Were they good friends?
Oh, yeah.
they've got 10 acres down there on that old home place down there east of the old Y thing.
Yeah. And they've still got on the old home place, they've got royalty.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Well, let's go back and talk about your two fathers. What kind of relationship did they have?
My daddy and his daddy,
Mhm.
oh, they were real good friends. Real good. See, when we moved back from Ada, well, Papa, he wanted us back from down there, and he said, I'll bring my truck and bring your cattle back. And you drove a wagon all the way from Seminole down to Ada. Go ahead and tell about your trip.
Well, we had 2 teams and 2 wagons. And no boy lived down there at Ada. He drove one of them and I drove the other. And we was 2 days of making it. I had on a load of alfalfa hay, and I don't know what he had on, don't remember. He was our neighbor that lived down there. So we lived there for I don't know how many years. Dad bought that place up northwest Seminole, and we moved up there, and that's where we've been living till we bought a home in Seminole and moved over and left the country, which I never did like too well. I'd rather be out there anytime.
Well, he don't have to, because he's out there all the time anyway now.
Mm-hmm.
This farm, but
Yeah, but I have to drive backwards and forwards.
you can't
It's a
live
better
with
place to live. Just like living in town. You got your water from town, you got your electric, sewer and everything.
Okay, let's take a look. Okay, before she starts.
Before Mama got started going to church, you know, or anything, they just, well, they'd meet at one house on one Sunday, around that whole section, and they'd eat dinner there, you know, have a big, well, I didn't know what the men was doing, but they were all out having them a drink, you know, they was drinking, but I didn't know it. They kept it from us kids. And one time at our house, I guess it's pretty close to the last one we had, well, Leon got deathly sick. Or was it Archie?
I don't know.
No, it was Leon. Anyway, he got deathly sick, and Mama didn't know what to do. She didn't know what. She got scared that he'd eat some. They had some wild onions. The kids was out playing, and she thought he'd eat some wild onions. So she called Corey Earls, that was our neighbor and real good friends, to see if her girls could tell what had happened, and boy. And so they said, well, yes, said Papa, he chewed tobacco. And he chewed star tobacco. Said one of the kids went to the house and got a plug of Papa's star tobacco, and they eat it. They just eat that like candy. And their boy was deathly sick, too. Well, after we found out what it was, Mama, she didn't care how sick it was. She thought that'd break him, you know. I never will forget that.
Oh, Lord. Okay, Aunt Este, how many children do you have?
4.
Was there any of your children, did they die at an unnatural age, or are they all still living?
No, Kenneth is the only one that was lost.
And when did Kenneth die?
What year was it, Newt?
56.
Was he the oldest?
He was the oldest.
Okay, and who was after Kenneth?
Donnie.
And then
Betty.
And Betty.
Then Izetta.
And Izetta. Okay, let's go back to Kenneth. How many kids did he have?
He had one, Judy.
Judy.
That's the only one he had.
And what was his wife's name?
You mean
Kenneth's wife?
Wanda.
Wanda. Okay, now Kenneth died right about the same time that Uncle Archie died, is that right?
No, he died not very long after Leon passed.
That's right.
3 months after.
Yeah, that's right, after Leon died, that's right. I got the...
Leon and Archie were, Leon and Kenneth was really close to each other. They played together, they were, just raised up kind of together.
Mm-hmm.
And I never will forget when they come down and told us about Leon. And they said that Kenneth went out to Leon's boat and said they never seen anyone cry and take it as hard as he did. I didn't know it at the time, but they tell me later.
Mm-hmm.
The in-laws were, the men. But Leon and him was really close. Because they're near the age, same age.
Same age.
You're supposed to knock when you come here.
That was Aunt Vera. So Kenneth and Wanda had one girl, and that was Judy.
Judy.
How many kids does Judy have?
She's got two.
Two, and what's their name?
Tiffany is the oldest. She's a girl, and Jason.
And Jason. Okay. And then
Donnie was next.
Donnie was next.
Mm-hmm.
And Donnie and her, I guess she's only been married to Cotton, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. How many kids do they have?
See, they had two.
And what's their names?
Diana, Donnie, and the boys, Monty Wayne.
Diana
and Monty Wayne.
Okay. And do they have any kids?
Yes. Monty has got one and expecting another one.
Okay, what's the baby's name then?
Sarah.
Sarah.
And Diana has two. And Tommy and Diane, Tamadon.
Okay. Then Betty. What was Betty's first husband's name?
Nut William. See, he was a brother to Cotton.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
I knew there was a connection there, but I didn't know how it was made. What happened to him?
You mean her first husband?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there didn't anything happen to him. They just separated.
Separated,
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And she's now married to Felix, is that right?
Felix Russell.
Felix Russell. Okay. How many children does Betty have?
She's got three.
And
A girl and two boys.
What's their names?
Kenny's the oldest,
Mm-hmm.
and then Ronald. No, Pam. Pam, and then Ronald.
Okay. And what's Kenny's kid's name? How many?
I'll tell you what, I'm getting old. Can't hardly remember. I have to study. Kendall's the oldest one.
Uh-huh.
And isn't that something? Can't think of that other one's name.
Yeah, when you want to, yeah.
Isn't that something?
Okay. Then does Pam have any kids?
She's got a little boy.
What's his name? Do you know?
See, they're in Texas. We're not with them as much as we are the others.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
just saw him one time.
Is that right?
You mean Pam's baby?
Yeah.
We've saw him more than one time, but
When she come up, brought him
well,
up.
they're not up here very often.
Yeah.
Because she works all the time. And,
Then, okay, Ronald, that's Betty's youngest son.
mm-hmm.
He has the twins.
Twins.
And that's Jason and...
No, not Jason. Jeremy and Justin.
Jeremy and Justin. That's right. And that's the only kids they have,
Mhm.
right? Okay, and then what about Izetta?
Izetta, but she just got a one. She just got one.
Her husband's name is Monty.
I think it is. He's a pretty good old Monty, though. He really is. He
Yeah. He can fry that fish, too.
thinks he can.
What's Izetta's
Next name, her name,
Uh-huh.
she was named after Newt's mother, Izetta Ann.
Izetta Ann. And they've got one.
Boy.
What's his
Mike.
name? Mike. Okay. I guess that covers just about all kids and grandkids, great-grandkids.
Great-grands.
back to the question of the past here. Let's go back a little ways again. Do you think that the two of your parents were more strict on you than, say, the parents of today would be?
Yes, they are. We were. They were. They was really
They
strict on.
minded better then than they do now.
Oh yeah, we knew if we didn't, we'd get it. You know. Now then, we'll promise them we're going to give them one and don't give them a whipping. You
I
know.
understand that.
I guess I minded. I don't remember ever getting over it.
He was an angel. Hear him tell it. He never did get a whipping. I'll
Did
tell
you
you
ever
what.
get any?
I'll tell you what. The reason why, because he run from them. And if I'd run from my mama,
I
she'd.
just remember running from Dad one time.
I'll tell you what he did do though. He was on a horse and his heels must have been awful tough. He had they make him some spurs, you know, with pins.
Mm-hmm.
And then he had to ride with his dad. I don't know how old he was, but
Not very old.
he got on behind his dad or on in
In
front.
front of it.
And this old mule as riding was just as gentle as it could be. And all of a sudden, that old mule throwed them plumb across the, you know how they built these rail fences in Arkansas? Throwed them plumb across that. Mr. Blind said his byword was Shaw. Shaw, what's the matter with this old mule? Said, Newt, did you have a pin in your heel? He said, I did have. But it stuck in the old mule. That was something else. I'd have blistered him.
Well, he was a baby. So
Oh, yeah. He never done anything
he probably
wrong.
didn't get much of the
Well,
whipping
Mr.
as-
Blinds never did whip him. He never did get a whipping from his dad, and I don't think his mother did but that
I
once.
remember catching me in the bed and whooping me. Had me one time.
He'd run from him, the reason.
Oh, I was pretty good.
Oh, mercy.
Did they ever take the switch to you?
Who, Mama?
Uh-huh.
Well, Lordy, yes, I've got whippings.
What about Grandpa Holyfield? Did he ever spank you?
Papa, we was afraid of him, you know. I don't know, or I was. No, Papa, I don't remember Papa ever giving me a whipping.
He probably had
He
a little
left
bit
that
more.
all for her to do.
Well, I imagine he probably took care of Leon and Archie a little more.
Yeah,
Or
I don't know whether
scolding.
I don't know whether Vera told this or not, but you know, I don't guess I thought any more of Vera than but we slept together. Me and Vera slept together, and Faye and Bernie slept together.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of hummed each other, you know. Well, Papa had a lease, and quite a ways from the house, and we'd take our dinner, go up and chop the cotton, you know, come in, and Archie was watering the team out in the front with a pump the water for him, and Vera was just little. But like I said, Vera slept with me, and Bernie and Faye did. And I don't know if I thought any more, but I know I did, because, you know, that's just the way it turned out like that. And that mule kicked Vera.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I might have told her anyway. I thought and I would run off down behind the barn. I was a pretty good sized girl, and I was back down there, and I was a-praying. I thought the doctor come out there, you know, to sew up the stitches out there. They didn't take her to the hospital. Did it right there in the home.
Mm-hmm.
And that was terrible. But,
Yeah. She told me a little bit about that. Well, do you feel like religion played a big factor in your
yes, it did.
growing up?
Mm-hmm. It sure did. Like I said, Mama, I can remember when Mama got saved. He's in an arbor meeting way out in the country. And Papa didn't get saved when Mama did. And then after we moved closer into town and they built the old church we've got now, of course, Papa, he had a big part in that, and so did Newt. He's working for the county, and he got the machinery and dug the basement and everything. Of course, we didn't miss a Sunday. Papa was a deacon, and is real active in the church.
I heard something about an organ. Did your dad donate an organ to the church?
Not that I remember, but we have got an organ and still have. And on the side of it is a plaque of everybody that helped pay for that organ and the names of them.
Mm-hmm.
Mama's name's on there. I don't know if Papa's is or not.
Ours is.
Well, yes, but I meant all of the
Supposed to be. I
all
don't
of
know.
them. Well, there are, and his mother and dad's names on it. And we still got it. And the old church is still there.
Is that
And
right?
Papa was deacon, and was deacon till he died. I mean, he We had a good daddy and a good mother too. And,
Well, I tell you what, they sure raised a bunch of kids.
well, they did, and I don't think any of us was. I mean, they were real strict on us. They didn't let us go. We didn't go wild. I mean, we didn't go to places where a lot of young folks went, like dances and things like that. They kept us from that. Even though they did things like that, they wouldn't let us. But we didn't want to. We went to church. We wanted to go to church, and that's the way we was raised. You know. Yeah, I can still just see Mama. I go to church, and sometimes I don't even know what to preach. I get to thinking about the ones that's going on, you know, that sit over there where Mama sits, you know, over there on and
About all going on, ain't
Yeah.
nobody going there hardly.
yeah, they are just about.
Going somewhere.
Well, most of them are, you know, the older folks, and like all of my folks have moved away, see, and there's just not. We don't have much of a church. Our church is still a beautiful church on the inside, but the outside needs a lot of work done on it. But we still go there.
Well, don't you wish that Grandpa and Grandma Holderfield could come back just for a little bit, one of these reunions?
Wouldn't that be something?
Wouldn't they like to see what's happened out of that chance meeting that they had?
That's right. And I think I wonder sometimes people, of course, naturally, since we've lost Kenneth and Leon, you know, I wonder sometimes if, I know they don't know what's the sorrow that's going on back here, but I just thought all the good things, if they know, you wonder about things like that.
That's true. Well, I sure thank y'all.
Well, we thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
All righty.